Hi guys, and welcome to Graphic Design 1, Week 3. So welcome. I'm just turning on the camera just in order to say hi, and then I'm going to go back to nondescript land where I don't show up. Rah, yes, there we go. Now we're happy. Now we're a happy girl. Okay, so what I wanted to do with you guys today is kind of talk through a little bit of the creative brief, kind of talk through fonts and text, because I thought that the book does a really good job. This is a book I used when I was on campus. I think it does a really good job of sort of explaining the process that we have to go through for creative brief, for fonts and text, and I think it does a really good job with that. So that's what we're going to focus on as far as our information goes. All right, so here we go. Let me go ahead and bring up this stuff, and we're going to start with that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the creative brief. Hopefully those of you guys who are in section 2 managed to get our creative brief PowerPoint and the one on typography in here. I had to change them up a little bit because in some cases the fonts, like this file right here, was over the top of the other one, so I had to fix them a little bit before I could put them into the PDF. So they're only a little bit different, and I changed some of the fonts and stuff on this one, just because it was all inconsistent. You know, that we don't think of ourselves as being OCD, but maybe we are a little bit OCD. Maybe a little bit. I'm really only OCD when it comes to this type of stuff. I am not that way with everything else. I'm just saying. I'm defending myself. Just saying. Okay, so I got all kinds of stuff going on here, so let me see if I can get my little windows back here. Hold on just a sec. Okay, perfect. So I have here with me Jacob, Nirma, Rachel, and Teresa, and I did give them permission to open their microphone and talk if they have comments and stuff. So that will give them an opportunity to, you guys will have a chance to sort of hear your fellow students' voices, but I know that sometimes it gets confusing if there's a lot of talking going on. All right, let's start here. We're going to start here with taking a look at what we have to do this particular week. So I have it in student view. So hopefully it looks like yours. I'm going to come down here for our information. They're talking about a creative brief. Now, I haven't really done a lot with creative briefs myself. It makes really good sense to develop one. I think as a company, if you were working in a company, outlining and being really clear about what the expectations are of your particular design is a very smart way to go and a very smart way of getting things done. So I think this is a great place to start, because a lot of times if you don't go through and define what you're looking for up front, really hard to figure out if you actually met it. I'm a goal setter, so I do a lot of stuff with goal setting. And when we look at that, if we don't set goals, we don't know if we met them, first of all. And we don't always, it's not always clear the roadmap to get there. So if we set the goals, the roadmap becomes a little clearer as far as what we're trying to achieve. All right. So if you guys take a look at this one, the discussion post for this one, and if you guys look, I'm in section 1. My section 2 people, unfortunately, have been having trouble this week with the readings. I have no idea why it keeps flipping back and forth, and one week it's okay in one and not okay in the other. I have no idea. We're confused. But I did get them all into the announcements. I hope you guys all got those. Did you guys all get those? I think Rachel told me she, is it Rochelle? I have a cousin, Rochelle, so is that Rochelle for you? Instead of Rachel? Norma says she received it? Okay. Okay, so maybe Rochelle ran away. Okay, so go through and do these things. When you guys see this stuff and it's outlined like this, take your time to make sure that you're covering each of those questions. And do a good job of making complete sentences and citing your sources and doing all those lovely things. So you'll find that I have posts under there as well. Somewhere under there is my posts. So I should have posts in there. I don't know where it's at, but maybe it's because I'm in a different view of it. All right, and all right, so when it comes down to this idea of designing a creative brief, we're actually not going to be designing the creative brief. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the creative brief to help us figure out what we're going to do for our design. So Shell sent me over some examples of what some students have done in the past. Let's see if I have them here. Okay, so here's a couple of them that she sent me over. So your job is to actually create 3 different ones. I'll tell you which ones I like the most just so that you kind of know my taste as far as what I'm looking for, but you think you have to create 3 versions of the ad. So this is, yeah. Okay. You guys weren't looking for sound effects, were you? Okay. So this is one. It does have a larger heading. They did use all the images in this. I would say my suggestion to you guys is, be careful because this is really text heavy. I might make the text a little bit smaller in order to sort of combine things together. This is kind of a little bit word heavy to me, and to me I don't know that people would be as excited about reading it. I do like that they made text different sizes. Oh, and there's a typo in there. More in information, more than information. That's a big long word. And then they do have the logo. So things I would say to you guys is because of the other one, I looked at the instructions. The instructions do not say that you have to use all of the images. I would say use all the text because the client will give you that option to use all text. I would use all the text. I would say maybe use a couple of the images on each of the slides, and I'll show you the images. These are 3 of them. There's one more that is a bird. It's called a, what's it called? This is one of the flamingo, I think. Again, text heavy. These are not my favorites. The next one that she sent over, these are much more interesting to me. What do you guys think when you see these? What do you think about the first ones? Let me shrink these up a little bit.
For me, I think the first one is overwhelming. I wouldn't want to read all of that information.
Okay. And it doesn't mean we can't put all the information on there, but just because it's so
it's just
prominent.
The way yes.
Yeah. So having it be that prominent might be a little bit overwhelming. I agree. In this case, they have the zoo logo at the bottom, the zoo logo at the top. So for me, use all the text, use the logo. So those 2 things need to be in there. And I wouldn't change the logo colors. So keep the logo colors the same. And then I would say choose 1 or 2 images. You can put them all in there if you like to, if you think that you can get it all done. But I think it's a law. And this one's got this at the top. It's got both the headings at the top. They didn't change much up in here. So get creative, get more creative. I noticed that on both of these, they didn't get very, it's like kind of the same design, but they just kind of played with it a little bit. It doesn't look like they used all the text on this one. Let me see what the text is here. Here's the copy. So let's see, did they do it? Well, here's your chance. Looks like they stopped it right there. And then, let's see, did they use the do you dream about animals? I think it's okay to break up the text.
I think it makes it a lot easier to read.
Yeah. This is this big paragraph right here. They've got it from, well, here is your chance, fun-filled day. Let's see, where do they end? think they got a little creative with their things. Participants, cleaning, enrichment for some of our animals. Okay, so it looks like they ended right here. So this right here is that paragraph right there. I would definitely put this in smaller text anyway. So this makes sense to have that be separate. There's a call to action. This is more like a headline. So you can change it, so that gives you the option to be a little bit more creative with that. And then the typeface, they're giving you Popular, Standard Black, so they're giving you a very specific font. I'll have to see if I have that one. It doesn't mean that's the only one that you have to use, but maybe stick with that one for the base text, and then you guys can get creative with the rest. Or maybe this is what they use. Let's see. Showing up as Calibri. Okay. So again, not a ton of difference between them. They're using a different background on each one. Maybe you guys can see if you can switch it up a little bit, make some of this be a little bit different, kind of challenge yourself. Yeah, the only thing I really see different there is really the colors. And the different image on each one. I liked that they carried the colors of the logo through the design. So that's a really interesting, sneaky thing to do with your designs to help carry things through, is pulling colors from images or pulling colors from logos or things that are standard and use those throughout the design. So they use the sort of yellowy orange color right there. We have sort of the green, but they use a slightly deeper green, and then the purple from the Fort Myers. So it's creating nice contrast. So we do have those elements. What do you guys think about this design? What do you think, Teresa, since your mic's open?
I like it because it's, you know, there's, they've created it in a way in where they can, things pop out at you, like the heading kind of pops, and then and you've got the logo that pops, and then I just like it. Yeah.
Well, they created some nice contrast in order to sort of create some different elements to the image. So as I'm looking through there, we talked last week about guiding you through a design, what are you guys noticing first?
The first thing you see are the lighter colors over the darker colors.
So the lighter colors are popping out at you?
Yes.
Okay, what else?
And then the text.
And then which part of the text?
The lighter text, like that's white. You got tigers and bears, and then you got oh my, and then you got zookeeper, and the zookeeper is outlined in white.
Right.
And that makes it stand out better.
So they
and then you've got the triangles that are outlined in white, and they are directing you down to the keeper camp.
Yes, good. So we have a nice big fat stroke on the zookeeper and keeper camp. Now, because those two things are similar, it suggests that they kind of go together. So if I'm looking through this, I might go, oh my, keeper camp, zookeeper, keeper camp. So that might be the way my eye goes if my eye is looking at the lighter text. I was drawn to the image right away, so that's just me because I like aminos. Yeah. So I'm really kind of pulled to the image really quickly as well. So it's interesting because think about those kinds of things. What do you guys think you want them to see? What do you want them to catch? If they only look at it for a second or two, what do you want to make them what do you want to make sure that they're viewing? What do you want to make sure that they're getting out of it?
You only see it for a moment. You're only seeing white.
Okay.
You're seeing the items that are outlined in white.
So you're picking up everything that shows the white. Okay.
Yes.
Good. Anybody else?
And it's funny because I'm moving to Florida.
Oh, are you?
Yes, the end of this month. That's the reason I'm having a hard time keeping up with class and packing and getting rid of stuff.
I hear that. So you're going to be near Fort Myers?
I'm going to Lakeland.
Lakeland. I don't know where any of that stuff is.
All right, it's between Orlando and Tampa.
Okay. I mean, I
It's on the
know
west side.
Orlando because I've been to Disney World, but outside of that, I don't know much about Florida. Yeah.
It's hot.
Yeah, that's the only, I remember I was there in March, and I'm like, whoa.
You ought to be there in the summer.
We got off the plane uh, in Atlanta. So Denver's dry. Right?
Yes.
Dry here. And so I get off the plane in Atlanta, which was a stopover for us before we went to our flight to Florida. And I was like, oh, humidity. Oh.
Yes.
I'm like, what? So yeah, I'm a big baby. Okay. So, all right, so this should give you guys an idea. So this week we've said creative briefs, and you guys are gonna take a look at the creative briefs. So I have that down here. All right, so they're giving you some information so that we're doing a Fort Myers Zoo ad. They wanna make sure that it's giving you some information about it, so that should give you some sense about it. And then it says Fort Myers Zoo, 42 acres of tree-lined paths. In 2014, they opened the African savanna. So that's probably why a lot of the, at least two of the animals in there would be associated with the African savanna. So here are some of our images. So here is a tiger. Here is the flamingos, a lion, and a bear. Oh my, that's right. So these are the images that we have to select from. So they've already supplied the images. It's really common. They will a lot of times supply the collateral for you. So you have to basically put it together, make it look pretty. Or you might have to figure that out. So, or you might be working with a company that's doing the whole process. So the pictures would be taken. But as a designer, most of the time, unless you're set up that way, you probably aren't going to be doing a lot of stuff with taking the pictures, but just putting them together. Okay, well, this doesn't give us very much information. What do you guys think would be the feel? If I'm trying to figure out how to orient the feel of the design, what do you guys think would be important there? Who is my audience?
Well, you've got me, of course. And you've got a zoo, so you're wanting to attract people to come to the zoo, to the animals.
Okay.
So I would think that would be one field, and that would be a major field to me.
Okay. So that's really the draw.
Yes.
Really the draw is the animals. So that would be something I would want to make sure I make prominent. What else?
Hey Sherry, can you minimize this one, the front features and benefits, so we can see the other?
Yes. So you want to move this over, you mean?
Yes, please.
Okay. I want to discuss those questions on there, so that's why I have that up there.
I just wanted to, I hadn't read this, so I
okay.
didn't know how to,
no problem.
didn't know how to expound on it.
Okay, no sweat. So we want to make sure we're focusing on the animals, so that's a big component. Now they're talking about that they opened this specific exhibit, so I want to make sure I'm kind of maybe figuring out that African savanna. How can I make sure I communicate that, give that sort of feel to it? So,
Hello?
Oh, hi, this is James with Independence University. Is Norma?
Okay, I'm just going to mute Norma there. So we can see that we have a lot of stuff going on with, they're looking at this accreditation stuff. So I'm really going to be focusing on the words that they're providing me as a client, but it helps me to know what they're looking for. So the bright colors that they used in the second design, does that make sense for them to use that? Rachel says because they're trying to catch your attention.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so we want to make sure that we're being really intentional about how we're playing with color. Would you say our audience is, if we look at the demographic of our audience, so there's, see, somebody talks about demographics. I'm just trying to figure out where it's at. I hate that they have images going over the top of other images. Okay, well, one of our stuff talks about demographics. So tell me about who is our demographic? Who goes to the zoo?
Families.
Families. Good. So when you are marketing to families, what do you want to market to? I'm trying to lead you guys down a way, but I don't know if we'll get there.
Uh, you're drawing the children
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
because you're trying to teach them about the animals.
So in reality, we're actually marketing to families, but we're really marketing to
Children.
yes.
It's kind of like Christmas and toys.
Yes. So a lot of times we want the kids to say, Mom, I want to go to the zoo. I want to go to the zoo, Mom. So then Mom gets motivated to go to the zoo and check all that stuff out. So that's what becomes important. These are the elements that we need to make decisions on. I'm sorry, were you guys done reading that?
Yes.
Okay, you're okay. Okay, I was like my page moved on to something else. Okay, so the folder, when you guys download this folder, it has a Creative Brave, it has 4 pictures and a logo, and it has the copy. It says create your project in Photoshop or InDesign. To the size specified, do 3 versions of the ad, submit your final design as a single zip file. If utilizing InDesign, package InDesign. So I showed you guys how to package it. I'm going to do it in InDesign for you guys today. So we'll kind of walk through it, maybe do some pieces and parts. We may not finish it, but we might at least get started so we can think through the process of how we might want to put this design together. And then it says if you're going to do InDesign, you want to package it and then do a print quality PDF. It says it'll include that. If you guys can do me a separate PDF, it allows me to put feedback right on top of the screen for you. So if you guys want to zip it and package it, because they say they want it zipped, zip it. But so package it, then zip it. And then if you can't give me a separate PDF, that would be cool. If you can't, it's all good. I'll figure that out. But as long as you have that zipped, then you're going to get the points for that. With the Photoshop, then submit your layers as PSD files and then zip it. So here's my thing. Here's what I have to say to you guys. I don't always have your fonts. So when you give me PDFs, that's why last week when we asked you guys to convert your text to outlines, most of the people that turned it in, I had some of their fonts, but some of them I didn't. So I can't see what your intention was in your design because it just gives it to me to pink text and then it figures out some font to show it in. And it's not the font that you intended. So when we ask you guys to give us things in PDFs and things like that, that's the reason. I would say if you're going to do a Photoshop, I would say also do it as a PDF because that would give me the option to see your file the way that you wanted it in case I don't have your font. Okay?
Okay.
Can I ask real quick? I don't know what outline means. How do you
When
do
you
that?
outline text, so when you go through and you're outlining text, let me go ahead and just see if we can just do it with this logo right here. So you can see these logos. Oops, got the wrong tool up here. So when you look up here and you have this text highlighted, if you go up here to type, and then you go down here to, oh wait, let me get off of it. Let's try this again because it doesn't want to do it. Type. Okay, let me just type something. T-Y-P-E, type. And then let's make that really big. See this pink that it shows up right here? This is what it looks like when I don't have the font.
Oh, I see.
For some reason I had a font that I don't have apparently. So let's just do, we'll do this. No, apparently I don't have that one either. How do I have fonts in here that I don't have? How's that possible?
I don't know.
It's a mystery. Okay, so notice I have the font and I have it selected. If you try to do it while the type is selected, this option for create outlines isn't available. But if I go to my black or white arrow tool, or I click back on type after I clicked off of it, it'll generally be available. And I go down here to create outlines. And what it does is it makes them individual. So I'm going to go up here and ungroup it because it leaves them grouped. And then they become individual objects, which allows me to play with them as individual items. And then I can move them around.
How fun is that?
I know.
Cool. All right.
There's some really cool stuff we can do with this. So once we do that, then we can create cool logos out of it and all kinds of stuff. But this is, we're asking you guys to create outlines. That's what we mean, is because they create them into objects and then we can manipulate them. So that's what it means. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, sure. Okay. All right, so if we look down here, it says finished ads are 5x8 full color created in InDesign or Photoshop. So that's the first thing you need to make sure you do. I might change this just a little bit and break it down, but at least this will give you the, I won't change that part. Did you use contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity principles to create a nice design? Did the ads speak to the design brief? So I think the thing we want to think about is the kids, that kind of who our audience is. We want to kind of do the Savannah thing. So I think, you know, using some greens and beiges, that might be something you might see on the Savannah. Those might be other good colors that we can throw in there. All text is readable. There's appropriate contrast and spacing. All photos are proportional. So please don't stretch the photos, guys. That's one of the, you know, people have pet peeves. It's one of mine. So please don't stretch them. And then make sure you have good punctuation, spelling, grammar, except that spelled, it should be grammar, G-R-A-M-A-R, but it's okay, grammar, we'll go with that for today, and it is correct. And then file submission should be proper file type and a PDF. So give me both. So PSD if it's a Photoshop and a PDF, and then package it if it's in InDesign, and if you can, give me a separate PDF. Cool beans?
Cool beans.
All right. All right, so the next one that we're going to do for the assessment is poem. So she gave me some examples of these, and I'll show you some of these, and plus there's some more in the Dropbox that she gave me to show you guys. So in our case, we're going to take a poem, and we're going to interpret the poem with typography, and we're going to get creative about how we do it. So we're going to choose a short poem, an excerpt from a poem, song lyrics, and we're going to give it visual expression using type only. The goal is to use typography to express the emotion and feeling of the poem, and you can be as literal or as abstract as you like, but remember, no shapes in the illustration, photos, only typography. Okay? Choose poems or songs that are so you get your lyrics or poem or whatever. I'm going to use a statement today to show as a demonstration. Define the overall emotion to be expressed. Use Illustrator or InDesign to express the mood of the poem. Use 8.5 by 11 landscape or portrait, doesn't matter. Black and white, no colors. So there's tricky. No colors for you.
Okay, that'll be.
All right, wait, can we use outlined text?
Outlined text. You mean you want to be able to manipulate it like I just showed you?
Yes. Uh-huh.
As long as I can still tell what the letters are, I would say yes.
Okay.
So sometimes people get a little too funky with it, and I have no idea what the letter is by the time they're done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really easy to do if you're not. It's like, does that still look like a T? No? Okay, I got to back it up. And then submit it, the final as a PDF. Okay, then we don't have to worry about the fonts. So this one's a couple of different ones. The experience, a permanent exhibit, creating the connection between the human mind and the body and spirit. And then down here, it's worth 50 points. So I'm looking, I'll probably keep this. You do not use banned fonts. I probably will change that one. The ones that Shell says she bans are Times New Roman and She doesn't like, I don't remember the other one, Papyrus or
Helvetica,
Comic Sans.
Comic Sans.
So she doesn't like those. I don't know that I'm that particular about it. I would like something other than Minion Pro because that's generally the default. So give me something other than that.
Yeah.
Okay. But I probably will change that last one to something else. Okay. All right. So let me show you a couple of examples of that. So these are some examples that she has for this one. So these are some inspirations about different ways of sort of playing with text to communicate ideas. I have no idea what this is supposed to say. I can see a J,
An R,
L, S, R, and E maybe.
I think it's rise.
Right.
Rise.
What is that though? Is that a J?
I don't know, but this is I think this is an I. Oh, you can't see my pen.
This right here?
Yeah, I think that's the I. And then S and E.
All right.
I think that little part down that looks like a J maybe just be a little, oh, wait a minute. You can't
Maybe-
use signs. So
Maybe it's supposed to be an A. That part's not, I can't tell what
There's
that
an
is.
L there too.
I have no idea what this is. So then, you know,
Could
just
it be
know.
resolve? The R is an R and an E both.
I don't know.
yeah.
And it's
That's what it
resolve.
is.
Yeah,
I L S E.
RILSE. Yeah, so we kind of lost some of that, right? Because
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And that's what you don't want.
Yeah, you kind of want to make sure people can read it. Well, Rachel had to leave because of kids.
Not a problem. I
No,
understand.
no, she didn't leave to have kids. Oh no, she just ran away. So Jacob already has his perfect song. He says, "Did you like it?" Jacob likes it. Cool. So you know you can take a look at these ones, and this one's interesting. Different fonts for each one, but everything's readable. So I think I would be hesitant to use this one because I can't read it. This one is just showing Badani font. So this is something that we do in typography. He says, life cycles, the word alive, music you will not like. Music I won't like, okay. I'd rather die. They actually have that as a sample. Hold on, I'll show you. For what I believe. They just have I'd rather die. Hold on, and I'll show you a sample of that one. But this one is a typography sample. So we have to do this one with that. Then a life without meaning. So he's giving us the lyric. Cool. All right. So let me bring this up, and I'm going to show you which ones they have in there. So this one is, you will not be punished for your anger. You'll be punished by your anger. So these are some ones that Shell sent over to me. Let's see. Come on.
Are you limited to the number of fonts you can use?
They did not limit you on the number of fonts you can use. This is just meant to be creative typography. So the big thing I'm looking for is, did you kind of create the mood? Can I read it? Can I tell what it says? Did you create sort of the mood that you're looking for with that? Did you find maybe some words that you wanted to focus on? So I thought this is interesting. Look at the word static on this one.
It looks like static.
Yeah, I thought that's kind of cool. A record is something I might put on a piece of paper, so that's kind of fun. They did use the same font here, 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 here. And if you guys ever want to see what fonts were used, we can see how many fonts they have in here. If we go to File and Properties and Fonts, maybe not. Normally, you guys can go here and see the fonts. Since something's, maybe this is a JPEG originally, and so it's not giving me this stuff. Hey, Rachel, you're back. So this is another sample, and then there's one more right here. This is the one I thought sounded like the one that Jacob was talking about. But they just did the first line.
I like that one.
To live is to die, so yours is different. I'd rather die for what I believe than live without meaning. Yeah. It's a good one. So you guys can think of a phrase. You can think of some song lyric. You can think of, I have a statement. Somebody uses a statement. Mine's a quote, like a quote from a person. So those are all things you want to think about. It's kind of fun font here with the blending into the background. That's kind of interesting look to it. They use a lot of contrasts here, so they play with the background. So we can only make it be black and white, but that doesn't mean that we can't be creative with how we're dealing with black and white and what we're doing with the background. So that can be really fun as well. So you guys can make this be kind of fun. So we'll try to do some samples of these. I just want to make sure I talked about them first so that you guys knew where we were going with this. I really would like to go someplace else here. Okay. All right. All right. So that pretty much covers what we have for this week. So I'm going to go back here to the home page. We'll keep those down there. I want to talk just a little bit about these two ones. No, it doesn't have to come from the internet. What I'd say, Rachel, is maybe don't do a full poem, but maybe like a section of the poem. So if you have if you wrote your own poem, that's cool. This is the quote I want to use is one that I'm really fond of and I talk about all the time. So that's one that's kind of powerful for me. But if you got a long poem, maybe just pick a section of it that you want to express, or a line or something from it. And what I'd say to you guys when you guys are doing these kinds of assignments, I would be careful about doing things that are going to make your life harder. Because sometimes students go, I want to do this and this and this, and I'm like, oh, you just made your life really, really hard. So try not to make your life harder. Try to make it easier. Okay, so these are the PowerPoints. I didn't fix this one because I just saved it over. I did fix this one, so I did play with this one a little bit. But when we look at typography, actually, that's not the one I like. I like the book better. So let me see if I can get there to the book. Yeah, let's talk about this one instead. I really like, some of the things that they talk about in here. So they're going to talk about 3 different things. They could talk about concordant, conflicting, and contrasting. The one that we want more is contrasting and concordant, conflicting not so much. And really, you would think that conflicting would be like, 2 fonts that are totally different, but they're actually fonts that are really similar. So when you take a look through what they're saying here, they're showing you concord and they're saying, okay, so tell me if there's anything that pops out on you on this little design right here. Anything that sticks out?
The words that are italicized.
Good. So we can see these and they're sort of meant to catch your attention. So they use something, and it's not like it's horribly different. It's not super different, but it's different enough that you can see that it's intentional, first of all. So someone intended to do that, and it really it draws your eye to it. So it's something that the designer wanted you to notice more fully. Okay, Rochelle, I don't know. All right, so that's this one. Okay, so this one is just showing you I think this one is the other one. Concord. I hate the way this pops pages when you move from one to the next. Can it just be smooth transition?
That looks like a coupon and an invitation.
Yeah, yeah. And they do lots of scripty font with invitations, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Hard to read.
Is anything going to pop out on you in any of these designs?
In the coupon, hello does.
Okay. Based on size. So that one How about on the invitation piece?
I see nothing popping out at that one because they all seem to blend.
Yeah.
Even little curlicues, they're dividing it up.
Good. And Popeye and olive oil don't really, I mean, they don't really stick out either. I know.
No.
They use Popeye and olive oil a couple times in here. Okay, so conflict actually has to do with fonts that aren't very different from each other. So if we look at Full of Sound and Fury again right here, there isn't a lot of difference. They're both a serif font. This one is a little bit more narrow, so it's a thinner font than the other one, but there isn't really a great deal of difference. So it's not doing a lot, except you kind of go, maybe your brain somehow is registering that that's different and you can't figure out why it's bothering you. But what do you guys think?
Really, I don't think it stands out that much.
No.
Okay. When I read it, my brain looks at it and I immediately know that it's a different size font.
But that's it. But it doesn't make it stand out.
No, and my brain goes, why is that a different size font?
And to begin with, the L on life at the beginning is larger than the rest of it.
So it's called a drop cap.
Yes.
It's not really a drop cap. It's actually going up, but it's kind of like a drop cap.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't go down underneath the text. Okay. So this one's just another sample. So here we are. We have what's up, which would be hello. But again, they're two different fonts, but they're really similar to each other. And then we used a different script for Popeye and olive oil this time. Oh, yay. They're all equally uneasy to read, except I think this is actually worse. Excuse me. I think that's actually worse. Okay, here's contrast. So when we contrast something, it really is going to cause our eye to go to whatever it is that we're talking. Hold on just a second. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Okay, so when we look at contrast, it's really going to draw your eye to something. So when we look at our little card here, any idea what they wanted you to notice?
Full of Sound and Fury.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. I think it's pretty clear. We're going for Full of Sound.
It's darker and it's larger.
Yes. So I've done a lot to contrast it. It's a different font. It's more of a scripty font. It is larger and a bold font. So they've given us a lot of things that make it distinct. And you can tell this isn't accidental. They were very intentional about making sure that your eye was drawn to that. Okay, so this one's like a similar font. They're both a sans serif font. But this one's is more of a slab font. And this is just a straight up sans serif font. So we'll talk more about what the slab font means in just a sec. But you can see big distinction, yes?
Yes.
Okay, whose wedding are you guys going to go to? Or whose garden party?
Popeye and olive oil.
Yeah, we're pretty clear on Popeye and olive oil, right?
Yes.
So no questions on that. And these are part of your readings this week, so all right, let me go back up to the top. So this one kind of walks you through some of the languaging of typography. So when we look at typography, they're giving you 6 groups. The old style, modern, slab serif, sans serif, script, and decorative. The ones I usually work the most with is, and they must have a serif font in here as modern maybe. No, I think it's old style. So I usually do with script, decorative, serif, and sans serif.
Yes.
So it looks like they're talking about old style right there. So we look at this, one of the things we're looking at is we're looking at these elements that are in there. So they're showing you a serif. They're showing you like the little elements, the little thingies that stick off. I usually point out the ones at the bottom more so than the top because I always think it looks like it's holding the letter up. It's keeping the letter balanced by having the little foot there.
Right.
Underneath it.
Keeps it from falling.
And it's what?
Keeps it from falling over.
Yes, because I don't want my letters to fall over. So that would be bad. So we want to make sure that we have that. They're also showing this idea of thick to thin. Can you see it on the S and on
Yes.
the
On the curve.
here on the curve of the D, on the curves of the S, right here at the bottom of the T, on this side of the Y, this bottom part of the E,
On
that,
the top also.
pardon me?
On the top curve of the E also.
Yes, and the top of the O here and the bottom of the O. So you can see that. They're also showing you stress lines. So they're showing you where the stress of that particular letter is. And this in case it's a diagonal stress. So that has to do with the thick thin lines. So the thicker part is going to make it show up like that part is stronger, and then maybe the diagonal part is weaker. So these are some examples of those. So yeah, this is where they're putting the serif font. So Times New Roman, Garamond, those are very common ones to use as a serif font. Here's the modern. When we look at that whole idea of the thick thin, that's pretty dramatic here, yes?
Yes.
Definitely very strong in this particular case. And would you could say that this is more serify or sans serify?
Sans serify.
Other way.
Serify?
Serif, yeah, because it has feet.
Oh, yeah, I've got them backwards.
Yeah. Well, think about serif meaning feet, and sans serif, sans actually means without feet.
Okay.
And it makes it easier to remember those. All right, so modern, you guys can see a lot of thick, thin stuff going on here with that. The Badani doesn't really do as much of that, but you can see at the top and the bottom, oh, actually it does. The top and the bottom of each letter, it stays consistent in how they're dealing with that thick, thin concept. A slab serif, so this is a nice fat. It looks like it's just fat. It's a fat serif. It's a fat font. It's thick. It's like a bold font when you look at that. And then you can see these are flat. The slabs, the part that's a slab, is the part that is flat rather than angular. Like if you look up here on this one, you can see a lot of those could be angular.
Right.
A sans serif, so no feeties. That's odd to me, but they don't look like they need any help standing up. They stand up all on their own. No help. No help for these guys. My favorite one that I use the most is Verdana. So I'm a Verdana fan. I like it because it has nice spacing between the letters. So right here, when you look at the spacing between them, it has nice spacing. It's got the letters spread out, and it helps make them readable to me. So I use Verdana a lot. Okay, there's our lovely scripty fonts. So lots of curly Q's and curvies, and yeah, they're just hard to read. The only time I really use scripty fonts is for a heading, or if I'm trying to catch somebody's attention. Just to create something that's a little bit distinct, but I don't really use them very much. Are you guys scripty kind of people?
No.
Yeah. So you don't use like a lot of scripts either. Okay,
No.
here's decorative.
But those I like.
They can be fun, but again, hard to read. So if you use a lot of them, that's going to make it really difficult for you to make sure that you understand what they're saying for each of those. So that's kind of tough. I have one in mind called Creepsville that I found on defonts.com. It's pretty fun. I've used a couple of times.
There's
Okay.
also one, I can't remember the name of it. Looks like snow's falling on it.
Oh, that's fun.
It sits like sitting on the fence.
Huh.
Like snow sits on the fence. That
That's
one's
kinda
a
fun.
neat one to use.
Yeah. And fonts can just do so much to sort of create a feeling for them. If you guys do use defonts.com, it seems like it does require sort of a installer to make that work. All right. So if you guys take a look over here,
Sherry?
you're hearing that noise?
No, excuse me, Sherry.
Yes.
What was that site that you said that was called? Defont?
Dafont, DAFONT.com.
Okay, thank you.
And they have a lot of the free fonts in there.
Okay.
So that's where I got Creepsville.
You can also get them from Adobe.
Adobe, yes, Adobe does have that now. They do have options for you guys to get type through them as well. All right, so take a look at your little quiz here. So what is this? What kind of font is this one?
Old style.
Nope.
You mean the name of the
Yeah, 'cause
font?
normally we'd be matching them up. So you're supposed to draw lines to match. So I just have to ask.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You can jump in on this part, Jacob, if you want.
He's being awful quiet. And
He's quiet.
it's a decorative.
Decorative, good. How about this one?
Modern.
Could be modern,
I think
could be slab.
True.
I think it might be a slab. How about this one?
Script.
Yeah. This one.
that's got the feet, so that's going to be, what is it?
Sans serif.
Yeah, sans serif.
It's actually a serif,
Yeah.
but I think this one is our old style.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys look at the I'm sorry, our modern. Because if you look at the thick thin thing that's going on there, can you
Yep.
see the A? Can you
There's
zoom
a big side and a thin side.
Yeah,
Yeah, now you can see it.
yeah. I think that might be the modern one. What do you
Okay.
think about this one? What do you think, Jacob?
Since we said that the As I Remember Adam was going to be our old style one,
No, that's modern.
that's our modern.
hmm
So then the Enigma Continues should be the sans serif. Since we have not used it yet.
Almost.
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 The serif.
It's the old style.
Old style.
Remember the feeties? So if it has feeties, then it's a serif font. So old style is the same as serif. They're just calling it something different. Try this one. Jacob,
Yeah.
this one's yours.
If that one's mine, from the ones that we've been watching or have seen, it's got to be between slab serif and that's our sans serif one.
They just happen to put it's an italic version of that particular font. But notice there's no feeties. The lines are very clear and clean.
Mhm.
There's no thick thin thing going on here. It's just a straight up basic font with no feeties. So think about that. So think about sans serif meaning sans meaning without, serif meaning feet. So no feeties.
All right.
And I think that we were probably right on that. Yeah, I think this one really is the slab serif.
Yeah.
Don't worry about this, guys, because you're going to get this. We're going to hit you over the head with it a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's just because
I hope it doesn't hurt.
it might, it could. You might have a headache. But you guys will take typography, which is DES 114, and or I think DES 114, maybe it's DES 113. I'm trying to remember. But you get a chance to spend more time with it. I think it's helpful for you guys to know it. I think people fall in love with fonts. I think they learn to really appreciate fonts and their value in that they can communicate so much information in such a simple way. So very fun stuff.
The one I like to use is Georgia.
Georgia's cool, except it does some weird things where it drops the descenders down on some of the letters,
Yes.
particularly the numbers, and so I'm not as fond of that. But that's me. Okay. All right. And so just
Giggle is A.
Giggle is A. Okay. What do you guys think about this one? Don't think too hard. It's
Decorative.
it's decorative. Do we have a thick, thin thing
So
going
it's
on
a
there?
B. It would be B. Radical, thick, thin transition.
Actually, on this one, there isn't really any thick, thin anything. It's just all one. So on the thick thin thingy, this
So
one's
it is C.
yes. How about this dingle? Is there thick thin going on there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we got some going on here at the top and the bottom of the letters. How
So
about
that'd be
piggle?
B. Piggly.
Pig-
Those Piggly Wiggly stores are here.
All right. Any thick thin?
Yes.
There's a tiny bit, but not that
I
much.
see a little bit up here at the top of the G's and the top of the P here. A little bit on the E.
Yep.
It's just not very big. How about Hegel?
Hegel looks rather like it's uniform with that throughout.
Yeah.
It's just bold.
How about Wiggle?
Drastic changes.
Yeah. So then that one's a thick and thin thing going on there. All right. How about this one? This one is about horizontal serifs, like slabby, no serif, slanted serif. So this one is
B. Six shabby. Horizontal serifs.
It doesn't
That's
have any, it doesn't have anything accenting its feet.
yep,
So it's
So
no
this-
serif.
a no serif. How about this guy?
Is that thin horizontal serifs?
I would go probably with thin horizontal serifs. How about
And-
Figgle?
Biggle is what she was trying to do with Diggle, the B,
With
thick,
the
slabby
B.
horizontal serifs.
Yeah, and they're horizontal, so there's no slanted serif on that one, but there is on.
Biggle.
Yeah, you see the L?
Yes.
Yeah.
How about Figgle?
It's a thinner one.
So that probably would fall up under the thin horizontal serif, maybe.
It's an A.
Yeah, because we could see these ones are thin. There's other things that are thin, but that's more obvious.
Is
this one?
Tiggle slanted because of the T?
The L, you mean?
No, Tiggle.
Oh, Tiggle.
The one you're on.
Oh, the T?
Yeah,
I would
is it
say
thin slanted? Or is it a thin horizontal?
the slant usually has to do with this part.
Okay.
So I
And
think
that
that's
one's
probably
flat.
the thin
No,
horizontal.
'cause if you look at the inside of the T, it has that little slanted part in it.
Right here.
But the
I
top
would
of the
go with
L is flat.
horizontal.
And the tops of the G's, the part that comes out, it's also flat.
Yeah. But see, the G's on this one are just curved.
Yeah.
I think they're messing with our heads.
Yeah, they are.
What's up with that? Okay, was there anything interesting in here that I wanted to talk about? This one has to do with some alignment stuff in here and weight. So let's just take a look at the main ideas here that they're talking about. These are the things that they talk about in here. So size, weight, structure, form, direction, and color. So I'll let you guys read this one because I want to spend a little bit of time going through the assignments with you guys. But these are the elements that you'd want to look at when you're dealing with typography. So what size did you use? Did you make that be distinct from the size of the rest of the text? What is the weight? So did you use a heavier font, like a bold font, or did you use a condensed font? Or usually condensed is a thinner font. So they've usually taken it, they've played with the tracking, which is the space across the letters, and they've also played with the thin thickness of the letter. So structure, how the letters put together, the form, the direction of the letter, and then the color. So those are all elements you guys can take a look at. So when you're looking through here, that you can see they've got a lot of stuff going on here. Rainfish Incorporated, they took a super bold slab font, and then they took it with a very fine, thin serif font down here at the bottom, incorporated. Probably condensed, but they spread the letters across, so they played with the what they call the tracking. There's three different words. There's leading, which is the space between the lines. There's tracking, which is the space across letters, and there's kerning, which is the space between two letters. So because this is across letters, we're going to call it tracking. And I don't think they discussed that in here, but just I'm planting that in your head just because you're going to hear those terms over and over again. I thought this was interesting, Sound and Fury. I liked the way that they made these numbers really big. Because to me, travel tips 1, 2, 3. I was like, geez, I hope I don't have to read anything because 1, 2, 3 is so big. Yeah, so they'll go through and discuss each of those. So that might help you guys get a sense of that. When you look at this, I think an important element when we're looking at fonts, the way that a designer works with a font. When I bring up InDesign, let me see. I'm just going to stick something up here. What you'll notice is a lot of times when a designer works with a font and they create something, when you look under the font, so like Minion Pro right here, when you look under that, let me pick something that I know has lots of goodies in it. Just go into Arial. And you can see under the fonts too, when they have these little triangles here next to them, suggesting that they have more styles under that same font. When this designer of Arial created Arial, they created every one of these designs. They figured out what they wanted narrow to look like exactly, and what they wanted narrow italic to look like exactly. This is very different from going into Word and typing something and highlighting it and putting a B on it. Yes?
Yes.
So we know that it's a very different feeling because when they created their bold font, let me just go ahead and make this be bold. When they created their bold font, they did it with great intention. Why did you go do that? We'll go to Arial again. So they have black in here and they have bold. So you can see the difference. It's not just about making the letters thicker. They decided how they wanted to make them thicker. Black is more like slabby. It's more fat. Everything's really thick as far as those designs go. So when you look through these, you'll see these designs, these designers, they created whole families of a font. So Century Gothic, those ones that are the Calibri, I think has a bunch of little, where's Calibri? Calibri has a bunch of different little styles underneath it. And the fun thing is when you guys are working with a lot of these, when you choose it from here, the font that it gives you over here on the side is a sample of it. So it's a nice way for you to see what you're going to do beforehand. They didn't used to do that, I'm just saying.
That's true. They didn't.
They didn't. So this is way awesomer to have it show you a sample of what the font looks like because it really saves you tons of time. Not having to click on each individual one. You already have a sense about, is it serif, sans serif? Is it script? Is it decorative? Let me see if I can find
I like Broadway.
I don't have that font on this computer.
Yeah, you do.
The one I was looking for, which is the my fun one, which was Creepsville. Oh, it's on my other computer. I'm sad. So it looks like dripping blood.
Yeah.
It's very fun. All right. So good for this stuff?
Yes.
Good on type? All right. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. I didn't want to spend like the whole class on it or anything, but I want to at least get us started on that. So let's kind of walk through a little bit of the assignments that we're going to work on for this week. So let me take that down. Take this back. You guys are getting like a tour of my stuff here. There we go. I just had to click on the right thing there. Okay. I want to be on this one, that one. This one's the student view. So let's hang out in student view so we can play with stuff. All right, so let's get things set up and then we'll figure out where we want to go from there. So let's start there. I'm going to do both of mine in InDesign. Are you guys okay with that? Or did you want me to play more with Illustrator or?
That's okay.
Okay. All right, so let's go for, if either one of you other guys needs anything, let me know. I'll be happy to go there and check that out for you. Okay, so we go through here and we're gonna play with this. We wanna make sure we set up our page correctly. So it's telling us that it wants it to be 5 by 8. So when I go to set up my document, in InDesign or Illustrator, I'm pretty much going to do the same thing. I'm going to go up here to File and Open. Hold on, I'm having a fight with it. This is my new computer. I don't know why it's being a little persnickety, but it's all right.
Has a mind of its own.
Pretty much. It's making me click on everything like 5 times in order to get something to kick in. I'm like, submit already. Okay, I'm going to go up here to New and Document. So this is the same process for Illustrator. So if I'm going to go create, I'll do the same thing in Illustrator just so we can get that set up properly. This one is supposed to be in Photoshop and or in Illustrator, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'll just do Photoshop on this one, or Illustrator. Okay, we're in InDesign. I'm doing whatever one I have on my screen. Okay, 5. Sorry, by 8. Okay, so notice I have the option for orientation. It doesn't say that it has to be a portrait or landscape. So no, you have a choice right here in setting it up whichever direction you want it to go. All the samples that you guys saw were portrait. Let's just do landscape just for fun. And then let's just take a second to talk about the bleed idea for just a quick moment. When we talk about a bleed, again, what is a bleed? I know we talked about it last time, but remind me what it is.
It's the white space between the columns.
That's a good guess. That would just be a column. Good guess, though.
The bleed is when you have the color on the page goes out. It bleeds you out to the end of the page.
Good. So you want the color to go all the way to the edge. So what you have them do is you have them printed on a slightly larger piece of paper, and then they trim off the edges so the color can go to the edge, because a printer can't do that, unfortunately. And we're not going to create a bleed this time, but know that if you're thinking you wanted to do that, that's just something to keep in mind, okay? But I'm not going to require that. That's too much to think about. We're just learning here, so I don't want to hurt your head more than we have to. So now we've created our design. Now we know what our design space is. Tell me about this pink purpley line right here.
That's your margin.
Good. So I want you guys to respect your margins. You can always change them. If you go up here under document layout and you go up here under margins and columns, I can change it if I want to. But I want you to respect them. When you guys go outside of those margins, you can play with things and you can push images off the edge, you can push colors off the edge. But when it comes to type, please keep it in, I'll call this the safety zone. Keep it inside your margins or the safety zone, because it really, it's one of those things that makes me a little nuts when it looks like text is going to fall off the edge of the page. I'm like, it's going to fall off. Don't make it fall off. Keep it inside the safety zone. Don't have things bumping up against each other. Don't have the text pushed up right against the image inside your design. Give everybody some breathing room, because it really helps keep things readable. If you have things running up against each other, then it makes it really hard to read. So, unless you're doing something that's very artsy-fartsy and creative, keep things readable. That's our job. Is when I finished my degree is actually in visual communication, and I keep that in mind. It's just I have a master's degree in communication, which is a totally different field. It's social psychology. I have a bachelor's degree in visual communication. They're 2 different ways of communicating. This one over here, I'm a graphic designer. I'm figuring out how I'm going to put the images together in a way that's going to communicate the message that the client wants me to say. And I'm going to use my awesome tools, which are visual tools. I have type, I have image, I have color, I have all those things that I can play with. So for this particular design, I have all those things. The other one's limiting me, but this one is not limiting me. So that's the thing to think about. Another piece is what you guys might do is you might create additional pages. So when you go to save this out, the way that we did it in artboards, we created artboards in Illustrator last week, right?
Correct.
So when you save out those artboards as PDFs, the way that you guys saw the sample saved, that's the way it'll do your artboards. It'll create them as 3 different ones. The same thing's going to happen, but in InDesign, we're going to create pages. So what we'll do is we'll create 3 pages, okay? And when I set it up for facing pages. You guys can select that it's not facing pages and it won't do this thingy right here. I can also tell it not to do that. If I go over here and I can say allow pages to shuffle, I deselect that and I can pull this around and do what I want with it. I can move it anywhere I want to. Let's see if I can make this not be next to that. I don't want you next to it. Stop it. Dang it. E. 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 I don't remember having trouble with this before, but okay. That's kind of fun. All right, well, if you want,
to separate it.
if you guys save it out, it'll save it as 2 individual pages anyway. But or you guys can do it like this and go to New Document, and right here where it says Facing Pages, unselect it. And then you can save 3 pages from here if you want to, and then I'll just do it that way.
Now you
Pages,
move it.
3. And then what was the size again? 5 by 8?
Yeah.
And we'll do this one portrait, just so we have contrast. And see that it did it 3 individual pages. Like, why can't I move it away? Dumb thing. Okay. All right, so the big thing I would say I want to note on this is I probably want to, I'm going to pull in the logo just so I can see what it looks like. I'm going to show you guys a little sneaky thing. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to place that image. I could paste it. If you paste it, it'll actually show up in the design. So that can be a really powerful thing to do too, versus having it as a sample. 3, zoo add. Okay. Here's my logo. The nice thing about this, and I'm just going to talk about it briefly, is that when you bring in a logo that's in AI format, I'm just going to show you guys this really fast just for fun. Now, I don't want you to change the colors in the logo, so please leave the colors in the logo alone. I'm going to take that off the edge. It's not text. I can play with that a little bit. If you go down here to links, and links won't show up in your thing, you'll have to go up to Window, and you'll have to grab links. I added it to mine because I use it a lot. All right, so you'll notice I have the Illustrator file in here. So just watch this. See if I can just select that text. If it won't let me see, Object, Ungroup. There it goes, okay. Just for fun, I'm gonna make the inside of this one be purple. So I'm gonna make sure that the color that's on the top, notice I'm in Illustrator right now versus InDesign. The color that's on the top is gonna be the one that should pick up the color. So I'm gonna go up here, grab my eyedropper. I'm gonna click on the purple. Okay, and then on the stroke color, let's see if I can grab that yellow. Nope, picked up the whole thing. Okay, I'm gonna have to just grab it, grab a yellow color. Okay, oops. Okay, got it. Take it 2 or 3 maybe. Quit hitting that with the eyedropper. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to save this. I'll have to make sure I go back and fix it. Okay, now notice what happens here once I save it. See how it just showed up with that little warning thingy right there?
Mm-hmm.
So watch this. So I can do one of 2 things. I'm pulling down the space bar to move this around. So I can do one of 2 things. I can click here, or I can click here to update the link. And you see I just changed it. Can you see that?
Yes.
So the cool thing is I left it in AI format. So it's not a JPEG, it's nothing else. I left it as an AI file. And because I left it as AI, it was able to maintain my ability to change it. So now I can go back into Illustrator. I can go back and use my eye, select that letter, use my eyedropper and re-grab that again. Go to File, Save As. Okay, and then notice it's there again. I'm gonna click on this time. And it went back. So very fun, right?
Right.
Okay, so things I might think about, I want to tie things together. So I want to think about how I might do that. So I might create a banner maybe with the purple. I might play with some of the other elements that are in there. One thing I would keep in mind is I really don't want to go below an 8-point font. Try not to go below 10. They say 8's okay. To my eye, it's too small. Maybe it's because I have to wear reading glasses.
You and I both.
Yeah. Got the readers on. All right, so these are some of the images I have to select from. I'm actually going to choose Tiger. I like the background colors in Tiger. I'm going to be pulling some of those elements. You have some elements to pull here from the lion, like the reddish color. We have lots of elements we can pull here from Tiger. So I think I want to use Tiger. And I might put a border on my frame. It's a little frustrating because I'm keeping this small. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to shut that so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so let's say that I want to create a background behind it. I can start off by just creating a background. Remember that you're working on layers, right?
All right.
Let's just, for fun, let's just, I'm just going to create one and I'm going to replace it later. Actually, no, I'm going to bring in my image first. Let's see. This is your image frame. Bring it in. I'm going to kind of keep it a little bit small. If you bring it in with the image frame selected, then it'll fill that image frame rather than the image just kind of stretching out as big as it is. And then you have to go back and try to contain it. So it's a little easier to work this way. I'm going to place my tagger. Mr. Tagger. Okay, so you notice he's really big compared to my size. Remember up here, if I have this open all the way, I can fit content proportionally. Okay. Then I'm going to use my white arrow tool to select my image. I'm going to grab the corner. This is going to keep my image proportional. Maybe I'm going to be a little bit more creative about how I place that. Maybe I just want to focus on the eyes. Okay. And another thing you'll notice is if you look at the zoo, can you see that the lines look kind of jaggy?
Yes.
And notice this doesn't look super clear. If I go up here to view, choose display performance and just choose high quality display, it'll crisp it all up. What it's doing is it's keeping it a little less clean because it's trying to save space. Let's see if I can get my black arrow tool. Too much. Maybe I should just go with one eye. Take care, Jacob. He has to go save his mom. Here you go, Mr. Save the Day. Can you tell that's a tiger? Don't have
Yes,
enough to tell that it's a tiger.
they're the prettiest animals.
I know, I'm a big cat person, but I have 3 of them, so
I have one to give away. I'm not a cat person.
no,
But I love lions and tigers.
I love my babies. Okay, let's put a stroke on this, and maybe we'll start to pull some of these colors together in here on this. Let's see, maybe let's pull this purple over here from this, and we'll put it on the stroke. So if we leave our image frame selected, and then the color, we put the stroke up here on top, we'll grab our eyedropper or hit I on the keypad. And then we're going to bump up our stroke. Another thing we can do is we can play with the angle. So maybe we can do like this little bevel on the edge of our image here. Okay, and did I leave that background selected back there? Did I leave that? Yes, I did. Okay. I'm thinking maybe we pull like a color from this, like this goldy kind of color from the tiger to fill that background. Oops. Got the stroke on top. Boop. With a lighter one, maybe. Hello. Nope, I'm not trying to select the stroke. Got the image selected. Thanks. Come on, baby. Oh. E. There we go. Come on. Maybe we'll stick with that one for now. Now remember our layers, that we have that issue with the layers.
Yes.
We're gonna have to pull that logo up above to make sure that it's viewable and seeable, okay?
Yeah.
So we just tied these 2 elements together. They're across the page from each other. They're aligned in the opposite direction. We just tied them together with the purple. So that's a way that we can sort of play with things to create elements that tie together. Let's create a text box. And let's put it down here. I'm going to put it in my little safety zone. Maybe we'll put that text in it. And maybe for fun, we'll take that green, put it behind it. Oops, do I not? Oh, I have the text selected. Hold on, I have to have the box selected. So you can color the box, the actual box that the text is inside of. So it's different from coloring the text. There we go. Then we can place our text inside of it. Let's go grab some text. Those look like heading kind of things, so maybe we'll spread those around in different places. Okay. Now we have a sans serif font here. We could deal with a serif font because that's going to give a little bit of contrast between them. So maybe we play with that. But we want something other than Minion Pro because Minion Pro is boring. I don't really have a favorite serif font. Anybody have a favorite serif? Not really. I want to maybe we'll go with a sans serif font. We'll go with this one. Corbel. Let me see what that one looks like. And there's a little trick in here where we can turn off the hyphens. So watch what happens. I'm going to deselect it and just turn it off so I don't have to worry about hyphenating anymore. Okay. I guess that's okay. Can put in 14.5. Okay, let's put a little stroke on our box here. Let's put the yellow stroke on there. Let me see if I can separate out that yellow color. Nope, it took yellow. Okay, it took white instead. Come on, can I have that yellow right there? I want the yellow. Give me the yellow. Yeah. Yeah. That'll teach it. That'll teach it for being bad. And then just for fun, we'll put the same bevel on it. And I will have to align these. It's not going to work for me not to have them aligned because it'll make me crazy. Okay, I could take it above maybe, but it's not going to work for me not to have that. Maybe I'll make this a little bit smaller. Hold down the Shift key. Did it take both? Yeah, there we go. I'm holding down the Control and Shift just to make sure both of them change size. I could also take one of those images and put it in the background and put text boxes over the top of it. I mean, you guys can get really creative with this. So that's just sort of placing the elements around on the page and you guys figure out what you want them to look like. Okay? I can't see the thing I need here. Okay. All right. I'm just going to pull it off for now. All right, does that give you guys an idea what you're looking for here? And then if anybody wants help with this,
Yes.
we can work on it tomorrow, but I'm just trying to get some pieces and parts in place for you. And remember, you guys can use this view over here so we're in preview mode right here. So all the boxes and lines go away. Another thing you can do is you can play a little bit with this text frame option so that we have spaces around that. That isn't very pleasant to have that text bumped up right against the edge. Text frame options. Inset spacing. Where is she moving? Oh, because I don't have preview on. Okay, so let me put it back to 0 so you guys can see what it looks like. When you have it at 0, you can see there's no, it's just sort of bumped up against the edge. So you can create inset spacing and it'll spread that out just a little bit. Let's see if we can take that down to 0.5. And made my text fall off here. Took myself just slightly out of the safety zone, but I think we're going to be okay. Okay. All right. So create commonality, have some fun with this, get creative. See if you can give me 3 different, totally different designs. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now the
Sounds
other
like a plan.
You what?
It sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a
Excuse me.
plan. All right.
Yes.
So the next one we're going to do is 8.5 by 11. And I'm going to type out the quote I'm going to use, and then you guys help me decide how I want to do it. So 8.5 by 11, new document. 8.5 by 11 is the default. We'll leave the margins that way. Remember, we're only using text, black and white, so no color. All right.
Right.
So one of the things that we can do too is we could put each letter separate. We could put them together. So I'm going to type it out, and then you guys help me decide which way you want to do it. Okay, so this is my text. What would you guys say would be something I want to make stick out more, be more prominent? Is there anything in here that you guys would say that should be more prominent than something else?
The word kind.
Kind. Okay. So we might want, we could take it out and place it separately, or we could do them as separate words, or we could do it's better to be and then write.
Uh-huh.
And then I actually want to put down here whose quote it is, just because. All right, so I'm going to do him separately so I can play with that. So maybe what I'll do is I'll do a separate text box. I'll put kind in that one. And maybe we'll do a separate one that does then right. I guess it wants to be its own box. All right. You want to be your own box, so you're going to be your own box. Okay. All right. So when we think about this, we're looking at definitely focusing on the word kind. And then maybe we do something similar to the word right that we do with the word kind, but maybe we make it some kind of inverse. So how do you think we should focus on the word kind? What kind of feeling does this statement have? It's better to be kind than right.
A warm, fuzzy type feeling.
Okay. All right, so we have to see if we can find a warm and fuzzy type font. Looking for a warm and fuzzy type font. What would that be? What kind of font would that be that's warm and fuzzy?
I have no idea.
I don't know, but I'll know it when I see it. Would it be a scripty font?
You know
It'd
what?
be a decorative font, wouldn't it?
Okay, let's see what Lucinda looks like. Let's bump her up. So there's Lucinda. You think it would be decorative? So it would depend on what kind of decoration it was. Like what kind of decorative it would be. And we could always go, you could go to deffonts.com. Definitely I wouldn't have your font if you do that though, so just know that. Let's see. It's better to stick with these because we know that they're stable. Of course, Papyrus. Oh, which is the one that Shell hates. Well, she doesn't hate it. She just thinks it's overused.
Sometimes it is.
I think Times is overused.
Very
So
much so.
But I have to use it because I do a bunch of APA format papers, so. I don't like it because the letters don't have good spacing between them. I don't know. I kind of like Papyrus for this one. You guys probably can't see my fonts very well, so it probably doesn't help you. Let's just do Papyrus.
Okay.
All right. And then what do you think the rest of this should be? What kind of font do you think it should be?
It should be a serif font.
serif. Okay, so you like the feeties like this one.
Yes.
And then what else?
Uh,
I don't think Papyrus has much choices under it. It's just, yeah, it's just one style. So I can't make it bold or anything like that.
you can always stroke it.
I can make it big. I can stroke it. It's just a little bit of a, when you look at the font, it's kind of, you guys see that? It just means your box is too big or too small. You see how it has all the lines on it? So if we stroke it, it might be a little funky stroking.
Oh, yeah, it would.
But I can't really stroke it with anything but white, so that probably won't help me because I can only use black and white.
Or you could make it, put it in a black box and make the letters white.
Ooh, there you go. So I can do that. So what I can do is I can center it here. And then I can go to my text frame options and I can center it top to bottom. I'm right clicking on it, by the way, if you guys were wondering how I'm getting that. And then I can choose the box. And then I can make it be black. Notice I have the stroke on top, so that's why I put the color in the stroke. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to choose my letters. And then I'm going to make my letters be white. Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Maybe we can do something else with this one. We'll use a different type of font, so maybe we'll pull right out as well. So no one comes to hang out with me on Wednesdays. Someone should come hang out with me so I can do samples and stuff.
I will be there tomorrow.
Are you to come see me? Okay. Are we allowed to record it?
Yeah, we can record it.
All right.
The only reason I don't normally come is because I'm usually working, but I'm on vacation this week.
Oh, yay.
So I get to come.
Yay. Well, you'll be our little sample. That's kind of good because from the creative side, it's kind of nice for people to hear how people come up with those ideas. And I think we might do is make kind be a capital K. Oops.
Get rid of it.
No, I see. I just made it too big or something. Can you see how I have the overflow text box here?
Yeah.
I don't know what I did, but okay.
It did it on its own.
Did I delete it?
I was going to say, why is it black all of a sudden?
I filled the text box with black.
Oh, okay.
It's like, what?
Well, no, the reason I was asking is because in the assignment that we did last week, one of the
What the heck?
things is that I did was I did some blocks, and then I put a color in each of the blocks. But then when I went to type in it, the color went away, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't type and have the color at the same time.
Illustrator isn't built the same way. If you're an illustrator, what you'll do is you'll create a box that has your text in it, and then you'll create a different shape that goes behind it.
Oh.
And then it's a little different, so it doesn't play by the same rules. I'm trying to figure out why I have overflow text here. I'm going to delete that box and do it again.
That's what I did.
I'm like, what the heck? But that would be why.
Okay.
So it's a little different. You can't fill the text box with color the same way.
Okay.
Can you fill a text box with the same color the same way? I'm trying to think. Okay, let's go with Papyrus again.
I don't think you can.
I'm not remembering a way to do that. Okay. And then let's capitalize the R for right. And what kind of font do we want to make for right?
Try the monotype if you have it. Monotype Corsiva.
Monotype. I guess I have to go down to the MOs. I don't think I have it. Mono Cursiva? The
Yes.
Cursiva one?
Yeah.
Maybe I have it under Cursiva. I know the font. I don't know if I have it in this computer.
Okay.
Monotype Cursiva. So you like the scripty kind of?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
So it's supposed to be kind of a negative word.
Oh, you don't. Never mind. You know what though? Maybe do the papyrus that it kind is in. Switch the two fonts.
And make right be a softer font?
Right, be the papyrus. Is that what you?
No, because I'm thinking that we make right be something that's not as pretty. Because like a bold font that feels like it's yelling at you.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Like
Because when
Broadway.
someone's like, I want to be right, I'm right, dang it, like that.
I think what Norma said, Broadway
Broadway, oh.
or Britannica, or yeah, Britannic, bold.
Like that, or
Yeah.
Broadway. We do have Broadway someplace, I think. I think we do Britannic. Okay, and then let's bump it up, make it big. We're gonna make kind be bigger. All right, Dougie. Here we go, Dougie. Okay, so let me realign this. Extreme options, center, paragraph, center. Make the text be white. That's the stroke. Make the text be white, Sherry. Do. Where's my brain? Come on, Sherry. Text be white. This is gonna be black. Go and make that be bigger.
Oh, sorry for the yawn.
Cut that out.
I know, it's horrible.
I think I want to make that just so it contrasts really well. A straight up. Sans serif. $49. I think I want to left align this just for fun. See if I can choose all of these and tell them to center.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
This project is in black and white. Does that mean you can't use gray?
let's see the way that it's written, because I have to interpret it based on what's here. So no colors, gradients, or effects. I would skip it. I would just do black and white.
Okay. All right.
It's a good question, but I think based on what they have here, I would be probably not doing it that way.
All right.
And I do this Lucinda Sands. Let's look at the same font for that. All right. So what sticks out?
Kind, right. The two that we wanted to have stick out.
Right. Maybe I'll work on the spacing to get that all kind of aligned. And which one sticks out more?
Kind.
Right.
I think
Right.
kind because of the black background to me.
Okay.
Anyway.
I want to line that to the left. Line right, I mean. Select it for Sherry. There you go. There you go. All right. So does that at least give you guys an idea
Yes.
what to play with there? Okay. And maybe you guys can be more creative because we just did that in 20 minutes.
Yeah. So we did real well.
We're like, woo! I'll fly through that puppy.
But I like that 20-minute thing.
Yeah, those are always nice. But, you know, then you think with it for like 25 more minutes, you know, until you're happy with something. But, I mean, at least, you know, we got you guys to look at the thing that we wanted you to look at, which is the kind and the right.
Right.
Yes.
Because the other words are kind of like, you know, leading you to the next idea. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you know what I didn't do?
What?
I don't think I hit record. Did I hit record?
Yeah, it's
Oh, thank goodness I hit record. I'm like, oh my God. Oh,
Because I had to take the puppy out, and I'll have to go back and look at this.
oh, I was going to start to cry. I'm like, oh no, please don't say I did that. Okay, it says pause recording. Life is good. I don't have to feel bad now. Okay. All right. So yeah, so I'll have this set up and to record. I have to leave, so it'll be a little while before I have it up. But
No problem.
yeah, at least it takes a while for it to, I'm going to use render just because I'm not sure what else word to use. It takes a while for it to render, for it to download to my computer, and then I have to upload it to YouTube. So it'll be later tonight before when it shows back up. But I think that you guys that were here are going to have a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I appreciate all you do for us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm happy to. Teaching is fun. The grading sucks.
It is.
I bet.
Teaching is fun.
Teaching is a blast. If I could just get someone else to do my grading for me. Arr.
I don't think that's going to work.
No, I have a bunch of on-campus classes. I have some on-campus classes too, so I'm like, I just split my time between everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys know because you guys work and stuff, so you know what I'm talking about.
Hey,
And I used to teach.
Then you definitely know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. Definitely.
Yeah.
hey, Norma,
Yes.
have you ever been to Lakeland?
Yes.
Okay, so I actually work for FedEx Express,
Yes.
and they just probably about 3 years ago, they went ahead and they opened up the call center so that they are all now. We're not all individually. Let's see. No, that's not what I'm saying. So basically, my manager and senior manager are in Lakeland, and I'm in
Oh, really?
I'm in Utah. And because they've sent a lot of us home to work. So now I work from home. And
Oh, that's nice.
so, yeah. And so my managers are in Lakeland.
That's
That's
perfect,
nice
right?
too.
That's
Yes.
perfect. Then we do the happy clap for that one. Okay, guys, I'm gonna stop. You guys can keep talking if you want to, but I'm just gonna stop the recording now and then let you let
Okay.
you know if you guys have questions. Those of you guys who are watching the recording, please send me an email. Please go see the learning coaches. They're beautiful, and they can help you guys with this stuff, especially if you get stuck. Don't just sit there and be frustrated. Let somebody help you get this fixed. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, Sherry.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
If you
thank
guys want, you can keep talking. I just have to stop the recording.